Hey guys, and welcome to this video. In my last video, I spoke about how I converted a client from initial interest into starting the project. And in that video, I mentioned how I installed a lot of confidence in them by helping them generate a design brief. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that technique because I think it is something that other small independent designers may find useful. Now, there's loads of ways you can go about this, but what I've noticed lately is that when I start working with clients, a lot of the time, they just know they want some sort of design doing, like they want a logo or brand, and that's it. They don't have a design brief, they have nothing, they just want to do it. So really, what I do to install a lot of confidence is I sort of take control, I listen to what they want, and then I roll out a process. I roll out a structure that I talk them through, which they can understand and get on board with. And that sort of initiative and showing authority and showing organization can really install a lot of confidence in clients and turn them around. So that's what I did on this one. And they knew they wanted to have a logo design, but they didn't have a design brief. So the first thing I wanted to do was to create that design brief. And one of the things I mentioned in the last video I did to do that was I sent over a questionnaire. Now, some of you might be wondering more about that questionnaire, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in this video. But before I talk about that, I just want to talk quickly about brand strategy, because this is kind of what this is about, really. So right now, brand strategy is becoming quite big and becoming very important and acknowledged. So what is brand strategy? Well, brand strategy is all about understanding, well, to my knowledge, brand strategy is all about understanding a company, business or product, like really unearthing what it is, what makes it unique, what it's all about, and basically creating a strategy to base your design on. Now, whenever you design something, I would always advocate that before you design anything, you have to have a good idea to base that design on. Otherwise, what you're designing, it's just going to be arbitrary, just pulling ideas out your head, and it's just arbitrary, right? So as part of my process over the last 10 years, what I like to do is before I even start designing, I like to take a big step back and fully immerse myself in discovery and figuring out what it is I'm designing for. And that's what brand strategy is. And there's some designers out there and there's some people out there that are really pushing brand strategy as a service in its own right. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's really important because, in my experience, when I've worked for big companies that have a big budget, they will spend a lot of time on a phase of workshops where they sort of discover all the things that make them interesting and basically create a strategy of how they want to approach going forward. Now, a brand strategy isn't just about how everything looks. This will incorporate everything such as, tone of voice, how they want to appeal to their customers. There might be profiles that they make about their customers. And then once you know your customer base, you can really appeal to them. So some companies will spend a lot of time in brand strategy figuring that out. But for small independent designers like ourselves, we might not, they might not want to invest that time and money into big workshops to figure out what they're about. So what we can do instead is we can just extract the information from them. Now, this could be a simple conversation over a phone or a Zoom call. And that's proved really beneficial for me in the past. Just having a conversation with your client before even a project begins, just talk to them about their product and, in their own words, listen to what their business product or company is about. And sometimes there'll be something that really pops out that you'd be like, oh my God, that's a really good idea. I could build a logo design around that, or I could build a brand around that. So there's that as well. But what I like to do as well is just to kick things off is I like to make a design brief. So if a company doesn't have a design brief and they don't know how to make one, then I'll go about making one for them and helping them make them do that. So what I do is I start with a questionnaire. Now, what I've been using recently is Google Forms. And this is and you should check this out because this is something I've started using, and it's a really nice user experience. So in the past, I've sent over like documents, text documents, And I send it over to the client, and basically there's loads of questions inside that ask them about their project and their product, and then what their design requirements are. So they'll fill out this questionnaire and they'll send it back to me, and then that is kind of like a mini workshop where, you know, at least I get some key information back that I can work with as a designer to do some sort of creative solution. I can work with that. So, you know, I used to send them over a text document, but lately I've been sending over this Google form. And what this is just a form that they can click through, and I can ask them a bunch of questions, and they can click through it, and they can just quickly fill in the information I need. They can take as much time as they like. It's very bite-sized, it's very easy. And then once they've done it, I get the form back and I get all this key information, which then I will take and put into my own design brief template. And that's, my template is in InDesign, and it looks something like this. And I put my information into this template, I print it off, and then we've got a design brief. So no matter what the company, no matter what the product, no matter how unorganized they might be at the start, I will always do this little process, and I'll send this questionnaire off and they'll give me back the information I need, and I can build a design brief. And this is how I started the current project that I'm on. They came to me, they just wanted a logo, they didn't know anything about it. I took leadership, I took control. I said, look, let's take a step back. Before we start any design or even talking about any design, let's get your design brief in order. Bang, did the design brief. They loved it. And then they were really keen to go forward with the project with me. So that was really cool. So if any of you guys are like small independent designers and you're wondering about how to start with, you know, how to start a project, if a small to medium company comes to you and just says, hey, I want a logo design, you know, or I want a brand design, or I want a website design, or any sort of design, I would always advise, take a step back, take control, implement a structure, get to know everything about them, kind of like a brand strategy, right? You want to base your design, anything you do, any design you do, you want it to be based on some sort of strategy, because that makes design a lot easier, and you know that the end product you make is always going to be based on something meaningful and appropriate to the company. And that's kind of that's kind of brand strategy in a mini nutshell. There is a lot more to it, but ultimately I think brand strategy is just about getting clued up about a company and understanding everything about them and creating a strategy to do all your design on later. So yeah, consider using this in your process if you're not already. Consider having a look at Google Forms. You can look in the description. I'm going to share the form that I've been using and what I sent on a recent project. You can see that, and if you're interested to learn more about the design brief, just let me know in the comment section. But I'll also put a link in the description to a mini series which I did on my GDS YouTube. And basically there's a couple of videos that talk about the design brief in depth, and you can go on and you can download the free templates which I've created, and you can get those for free there. So yeah, so that's how I started the project. Now I'm about to start. Now I've got my design brief and I've got the questionnaire and everything back. I'm about to start this new project in the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to sharing. Step by step, day by day process and how I'm going to do this logo design for them. So stick around for that. There's going to be a ton of more videos like this in future where I'm just sitting in front of the camera talking about insightful bits and pieces of my workflow that might help you and something that you can incorporate into your workflow. So be sure to subscribe, and you know, I'll see you in the next video when we start to kick off this project. So I hope that this video has helped you out. I hope there's been something in there that has helped you out. If you want to know a bit more, just hit me up in the comment section. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about like this, candidly, let me know and I'll make another video like this. So until the next video, have fun guys, and I'll see you next time.